he's not forced to come to church, right? And then Joshua is forced to do anything in life because that's just the way Joshua works. So, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. So, do you look for God yourself or do they force you?
Me?
Yeah,
oh,
you.
I
Yeah, you.
Yeah, because it's not like that anymore. Because my mom was kind of like that. Like we would have like times where we'd have to memorize verses or write about them. Something we didn't want to do because we're kids, you know. Like I like going to church like as a kid, but not like doing stuff like.
But when you're forced to do things, then it was kind of like the whole fun was taken out of it, right?
Yeah.
So what about now that you're old enough? Because you're already 18.
I've made my decision that like it's important to me, and I'd like to keep it in my life, but
it's hard. The everyday struggle is going to be hard. No one ever said it's going to be easy. Okay, it's not easy for me as an adult. So we can only imagine you guys as youth. One, you have the peer pressure out there. You have all these cool kids doing all the cool stuff of the world out there. Name it: smoking, drugs, girls, boys, parties. It's all very like, como lo dicen, muy llamativo, no? It's like, oh, there's so much fun out there. But then later on, the consequences that they have, it's not gonna be fun. Yeah, and then you're gonna partake in the consequences too if you go along with it. But if you don't, and from young age you choose to do different, then you're gonna avoid yourself so many headaches, right? So many headaches. Because you'll see, like we were talking about choices that we make, and sometimes we make stupid choices that later on we regret about it. You know, when we're older, we're gonna regret it even more. You know, that's what happens.
Remember, no stupid choices.
There's no stupid choices, just stupid people. That's what we told them, no stupid choices. No, there is stupid choices.
No, there is, yes.
Not think and
Just
we
kidding.
make a choice, and all of a sudden, down the road, when the outcome is like totally stupid, we're like, wait, I wasn't thinking, right?
That's why we need the wisdom of God.
Yeah, and that's why we want to read the Bible. Because all the wisdom you could want and acquire is in here. We teach adults, whether it's financial, whether it's about marriage, whether it's about sex, whether it's about friendship, it's all in the Bible. Can someone tell me, it's like, okay, what does it say about friendship? It tells you clearly, do not hang around with people that are doing bad things because they're going to corrupt you. You're going to end up like them. It's like, oh, where is that in the Bible? Go to the book of Proverbs, you're going to find them all in there. What does it say about money? It teaches you about money. It tells you to be wise. It tells you to save. It tells you to invest. It teaches you. You're like, really? The Bible teaches about money? Yes, it does teach you about money. There's 2,600 and some verses over that really talk about finances and money. Does it talk about relationship? Yes, it talks about relationship. Does it talk about what kind of people to choose? Yes. Does it give us examples? Yesterday we were talking about stories, right? That we're going to be reading a story. Each one of us is going to pick a story to read from the Bible. That.
No, we changed it. It was, remember, you gotta read the book.
The First Kings. No, that was just the one that I told you guys for a moment. But you guys each have to pick a story. Yeah, each one. Just pick a story. Find one story from the Bible. Because one of the girls was yesterday. He goes, I just don't like reading. You know, I don't like reading either. Tell me something new. Like, you give me a math problem, and my husband has seen it. You can give me a math problem, and I can sit there and I'll break my head over it, and I'll figure it out. I don't know it. But you give me something to read, or to write an essay, it's like, oh my Lord. I hated it then, I hate it now, I hate it throughout the whole life I taught my kids at home.
I hate reading, but.
And so, but when it comes to the Bible, the way I got my desire to read was like, even in my older ages. One time it was my husband actually, and he was telling me a story about this, I think it was a Levita. It was a Levita that he was traveling with his wife, and then the wife got kidnapped, or she got raped, and she died, whatever happened, and so he got kicked out, and he went and diced and sliced his wife into 12 pieces, and sent it to I was like, what? That's not in the Bible. And he goes, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, that sounds like too much graphic movie, you know, like I could picture it in my mind. But he actually went to the Bible, and it's actually in the Bible. I was like, Ethan didn't believe me were talking about another story yesterday. I go, okay, well, when I think it was King Solomon, when he was the king, and there was this ladies, there was two ladies, there were two prostitutes. These are stories. So the way I got myself to read the Bible was I would read stories. And I was like, and it was pretty amazing because like my husband was telling me that crazy story, I was like, that's not in the Bible. Sure enough it was. But it was an interesting story to read about, right? And I've actually read it like 3 or 4 different times, that whole thing, why it happened, how it happened, and the whole 9 yards. So one of the stories that I was telling about that we actually read yesterday was in 1 Kings 3:16 to 28, right? And it was talking about 2 prostitute ladies that they went to the king because they were fighting over a child. You guys have heard about the story? So for those of you that have not heard the story, they're fighting over a child. One saying it's my child, and one saying it's my child. Back and forth, because they both have their own babies that were born. But one of the babies died at night for one of his ladies, and what she did is she exchanged the dead baby with the live baby and gave the dead baby to the other one. But then the king doesn't know them. He doesn't know their lives. He doesn't know who's saying the truth for them.
There's no DNA test.
Huh?
There
was no DNA testing. There was no paternity test back then. So how was this king going to decide who to give this kid to? What would you think? How would you decide who to give the kid to? How would you know who's lying? That's what the king said. He goes, okay, you know what? You guys are fighting over this kid. I'll find out who really cares for this child. Or
No, this is gonna cut in half, give half.
Because you know what? Chop the kid in half and give 1 half to her and 1 half to the other one. He was like, that's not in the Bible. We were like, let's open it up. Go find it. I challenge you to go find the Bible and tell me where it's on the Bible. So he did. He actually looked for it, and we read about it, and it actually is what happened. So when the king said, okay, well, you guys can't make your mind to who belongs, the mother is for this child, let's chop them in half. Tienes una mitad y tú otra mitad, órale, así están todos en paz.
Wait, how did they chop them off?
They didn't chop them in half.
Because
One of the ladies said, no, don't cut the kid in half, give her the kid. And the other one goes, no, let's cut the kid in half.
So ask him who do they think? Ask the question again and ask him who do they think was the mom?
So who do you think was the mom?
The one that said cut the kid in half, or the one that said no, don't, just give her the kid?
She'd rather sacrifice. Well, not sacrifice for getting the kid than the kid dying.
So that was the mom. That's how they found out that's the mom.
That's how the king.
Because you don't want your kid to die.
Because the other one could care less. Her kid was already dead. So she was just trying to bang someone else's kid out from the other lady. So ultimately, she could care less if this other child died or lived, right? Why? Because her own kid was already dead. So the king used that analogy, well, le vale, porque ella ya perdió el suyo, so no importa perder otro. See what I'm saying? So that's how he came to the analogy, where the other one was like, no. I'd rather not have my kid, but I sacrifice him to go with someone else, but for him not to die. Especially because we're here being stupid fighting over a kid, right? So that's how the king knows. The king goes, give this lady the kid. This is the real mother. So he had to use wisdom from God to actually judge, to actually rule. Pero, because there was no DNA testing. There was no, let's pop some blood tests and let's see who the father or the mother is all of a sudden. So, choices. Who made the right choice there? Which one of the ladies?
There was no Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer.
Oprah. And Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. To the paternity tests. Oh, la señorita Laura. So, if this king was able to rule and use God's wisdom and teaches God's wisdom in Proverbs and writes about God's wisdom, how much do you think we can benefit from it? But yet, how are we going to be able to benefit from it? What's the first thing? How are we going to be able to learn from it? We're reading it, right? So it doesn't matter what we do, it all boils down to whether we read or we don't read the Bible. Whether we want to read the Bible or whether we don't want to read the Bible. That's how we're going to acquire wisdom. Your mom can drill it into her head, or like they were saying, she can force you to memorize the Bible verses. We would one of our little one, he would behave so bad. You know what his life composed of? Writing Bible verses like standards. You know how in school, I will not do this. They would make us write standards back then. You would sit there, you would have to write one stupid thing 100 plus times. And if you argued about it, it was 500 times. It was like your hand was, yeah, it's like your hand was like out of business. So our son, I remember we would make him actually do standards from a Bible verse. He would write the same Bible. The other day I ran into one of those notebooks. I was like, oh my gosh. You think as a parent, 200, 500, it would be Bible verses. I will not steal. I will not lie. I will, whatever he did, I would find the Bible verse that went along with what he did, and I would make him do standard out of it. You know, and he still remembers. He goes, "Remember, you used to kill my nerves from my hand?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that." He's never had to do Bible standards, right? No.
I know I have.
When you were a
Like
kid?
more than 5 times.
When you were a kid, huh?
Way more than I was a kid, too.
Yeah. But imagine, did he memorize that Bible verse? Yep, by heart. Did he know it by heart? Yep, he knew it by heart. But the point is, it was because he behaved badly.
No, but that's actually the wisdom of God, because the Word is not just any book.
Yeah.
So when you're going through something, and that verse comes to you, He teaches you something different. So that's the wisdom of God.
Every time we go through it, it'll be something different that we're going to learn from it. So we're talking about how do we want to get to know God more? Is it through somebody else, or what other people do, or what we see in other people, or is it through God? Because we want to get close to God. That's the only way we're going to learn properly, is when we come close to God. Not because other people force us to, not because other people are doing it, it's because we want that desire to come in us. Whether it's going to be now or when you're 25 or when you're 30, only God knows. Right?
But you don't know when you're gonna.
But then, this is one of the golden questions. Do you know when you're going to die? Do you know when you're going to die?
Yeah.
Do you know when you're going to die? Do you know when you're going to die? Do you know when you're going to die? You know when you're going to die? I was like, for a moment there, I mean, you know when you're going to die? Do you know when you're going to die? You do? When are you going to die? And there you go. So you don't know when you're going to die. Do you know when you're going to die? Ethan, do you know when you're going to die?
I know when I'm gonna die.
Do you know when you're going to die?
When God decides to.
When God decides to, right?
Sure.
I personally have came this close to people telling me, oh, you're going to be dead in 2-3 months. Or you only have this much time to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am still here. 15, 17 years
She's gonna bury us all, and
I'm gonna bury everybody. I'm still gonna be alive, probably. Yeah, but because I will be like, okay, well, whatever God says. If God says He's gonna take me, He's gonna take me. If He's gonna leave me, He's gonna leave me, right? But I came this close. I came this close to in car accidents where I actually saw my life like end right there. Okay, but yet still, I don't know when I'm gonna die because it's ultimately be gone. I had a car that I was sitting in one time. I literally walked out of the car because I got a phone call. Seconds later, when I stepped away from the car, right in front of my house, the car scorched, like charred. Out of nowhere, the car was not even on. Just blazed in flames. Literally, seconds after I walked away from it.
burning.
So I've come this close to, and witnesses around that have seen it, right? Screaming my head out, the car's on fire! And that one instant when he came out of the shower running to turn off the car, and then he had the car keys.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah, I was really close to death. But did I die? No. So we don't know when we're going to die. The question here is, okay, how long are you going to wait to look for God? Or to serve God, right? Oh, cuando ya esté grande. How many of you know if you're going to live to be old enough? Or what is old enough? What do you consider old enough to serve God? Huh, Josh? What do you consider old enough to serve God? Anytime. Anytime, right?
There's little like 4-year-olds that.
Look at little Samuel,
He can use
the
any of us.
the
Samuel
prophet.
was 10 years old, right?
First Samuel,
God
chapter
talked
1
to
to 3. You can read. Well, chapter 1 special.
Yeah, chapter 1 especially.
He was like 3 years old when he started serving.
When they kicked him all the way to the mountaintop.
And then 8 years old when he had little sotanas. What do they call it? Little customs or
Yeah,
The priesthood. Priest.
The priest suit, right?
Suits.
No, but he was like, I think 10, right? When God first talked to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was 10 years old. God talked to him. So we never know. The point is, when we have the understanding and we know that God is real, that's the time to say, okay, what am I doing for God? Like, what am I doing for the world, or what am I doing for God? Because when you put that in a balance, then you're going to have the understanding of, ¿en verdad estoy sirviendo a Dios o no? Am I really serving God, or am I serving myself or the world? If you're just serving yourself, then you're serving the world. It's as easy as that goes, right? Anybody has anything to share about serving God?
Or you start by believing.
Well, they believe, like Sam said, he believes, but there's always things that's gonna sidetrack.
Because there's a process.
Right?
I don't believe in people.
Yeah. So, and like I was explaining him, don't put your look or tu mirada, don't put your faith on people. One of the things that I don't understand, I was explaining him, is we go to a church, but then the people that we serve with screw up, or they're a bad example. Then what do? We go take it out on God. Nah, no sirve, ¿para qué estoy sirviendo a Dios? Look at these people. Okay, you just answered your own self. You were serving with a group of people that are incompetent, and people that are sinners. We're all
like
sinners.
us.
And it's the classic. It's the classic. So why don't we go and take it out on God when it was people that did that? You can't take it out on God, because it's the people that act bad. It's the people that choose to do bad, not God. And it's always going to be people. We all have these examples in our life. We all have things in our life where they can be very holy, but then they'll do something stupid, or they won't be forgiving, or they won't be, you name it. They can be Christian. They can be as Christian as you want, but then something happens. Let's say you offend somebody, right? And all of a sudden, no, ya no te puedo perdonar. Hay cosas que no se pueden perdonar. Really? Christ forgave us everything on the cross. Christ took our sins and he forgave us in absolutely everything. So who am I not to forgive? Right? Who am I to hold a grudge? Oh, no, but there's things that can't. No, it's because your flesh doesn't want to give in. But anything is possible with God, if we have God's mind in us. Right? What do you guys think? Yeah? All right. Well, we do have a youth group on Saturdays. If you guys want to come.
And it's but tell them the dynamic there. It's different. It's a little. Well, you should know.
No, I'm asking you.
It's
You
the
look
same
like you know
thing.
better than me.
No, it's a little more.
That's the same thing.
Yes, it is, but it's more like participating.
Well, it is. We're all participating.
More,
Same
even
thing,
more.
But it's
That's why
just
we want you guys to participate more. To,
They're participating.
not being forced, but because see,
Sam has talked to
this
me
is
so much.
okay. This would be the dynamic. Okay, this is the purpose. The name of the group is Broken Beings, and that's what we are.
Not broken beans. Because it is not
Beans.
like bean at all.
No. No, broken. And what it is that we all, like she says, we all have our flaws. We all have things that got put in us that are good. All of you, if I ask you, you might not even know it, but you have talents, you have abilities that others cannot do. That's what we're unique. One thing that we don't understand, and especially, let me just give you a few minutes, on the youth, that they think that, they get depressed. There's a lot of youth that are depressed in the world and all that, and even in church. And it's because they don't understand they're unique. God created them unique. There's nobody, like I say, there might be somebody better at this than me or better than, but I'm unique. God created us unique. Our digit, our fingertip, the fingerprints, your DNA, everything. So there's proof that you are. There's nobody like you, and there hasn't been anybody like you, and there won't be anybody like you. So, having said that, we all have problems, we all have trials. So the purpose of the group is not just to, like today, this is great. We need the teachings, we need all that, and we have the Bible to get wisdom. But we also want to share. We want to pray for one another. It's not like, I know it's going to take time. I'm not saying, you barely know somebody and you just come and you're going to tell them your problems, but that's what the whole purpose is, because we're all in the same boat. as adults, as young. A lot of the youth, that group is intended to give you a voice. To say, you know what, I went through this and I didn't know how to deal with it.
We're called broken beings now.
That's why we're broken. So then you have other you. They go, okay, what would you have done in her place or his place? And they go, okay, you know what, I really don't know, or I would have done this. And that's the whole purpose. And then what does the Bible say about that? And that's when we go to God. But we want to be able to participate, to open up. And like I said, especially prayer. Say, you know what? I need you guys to pray for me because it could be an exam. It could be a test at school. It could be a bully at school. I mean, how many of you? I went through bullying.
Bullies in school now.
No. But we're talking in general. Okay, how many? No, honestly, I've been bullied in school. How many of you have been bullied one way or another in school? Honestly, I've been.
Yeah, just my sister.
Have you been bullied? I've been bullied. No, seriously. She was a bully. Look at that.
Not a bully.
No.
No, I just did
No.
I would just
But-
defend my sister, my younger sister. But I never went to bully anybody.
No, but so and again, that's an example. Now when somebody goes through somebody's being bullied, that can.
Back in my days, I mean, you're older than me, so in your days.
No. They're always being bullied. No. It's always been bullying.
I think it's a lot worse now.
There's nothing. No. There's nothing new. King Solomon. There's
Okay.
nothing new under the sun.
I know, but
It was just different ways. It's always been in the history, of course.
I think it's just easier now.
Because it's the heart of man.
open, right?
See, that's what I mean. So we start. It's the heart of man. The Bible says it's the heart of man's evil. And men, I mean everybody, a human being. Yeah. See, that's a bull. That's being bullied. That's being criticized and everything. So anyway, so that's the point. So that all of us can share, and then help one another. And of course, God's in the
I
middle.
guess
He's the
we
one
used to
that-
name it differently. We used to make fun of, because you would get made fun of.
I know. No, of course, the term bully came afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes, the term bully came afterwards, but it's the same.
Yeah, the term bully.
Just people picking on you, getting, if they're stronger than you or they're better than you at this or better looking or whatever. And see, that's what we're here. That's what we're here for, because it does work, especially when you're in a group and you have that support. So Saturdays. And we tend to have games also and other things. So mostly it's to ¿cómo será? Convivio. To share, to
Just like get together and put like youth heads together, young
Yeah.
heads together, and think, hey, this is going on, like.
and
they were
start
saying
getting the
in the first thing they were saying, well, there's youth like among even like you guys get together and somebody's going through like some depression or someone's going through some hardship
Exactly.
that no one else knows about and they don't know who to turn to. But you guys have youth among yourselves that, you know what, it's gonna be okay, you guys.
and we've seen it work.
People to
Yeah.
relate.
And we've seen
Yeah,
it work.
that's what Joshua was saying, that someone else can probably relate to how you're feeling and you think you're all alone out there just going through that one certain phase
Exactly.
of your life, So, but there's other kids, even in the youth group, that come together I don't think there's uno que esté todo santito aquí, ¿verdad? There's probably not one that's like all holy. Oh, brother, God's gonna give the wisdom of the Lord. I don't think we have one like that, right? We've seen some out there, but I don't think we have one like that here.
No, but
we have a
that's-
bunch of youth that know
that's-
about God and know the knowledge,
But that's
they might
the
even
process.
not know how to express
Exactly.
themselves, but they'll be able to like give you una palmadita, it's gonna be okay. Let's pray and let's just know that I've gone through it and I know how you feel,
We've seen it
Just
happen.
someone that can relate to you. Yeah, we have kids like that. So, what else do you have to add?
Well, just like two Saturdays ago, they went and prayed for Don Ramon. Oh, and get what happened to Ramon today. See, those are the little things, guys. But let me explain to them. Okay, there's a guy across the street. He owns, or I don't know, he works. He works there. And those are the little, I take him a soda once in a while. He started coming to church because we were out there. And then 2 Saturdays ago,
Well, it was one Friday that you came and talked to
I
Josh.
take to Josh, and he was like kind of depressed.
He
and-
didn't tell you?
Just like, I don't know, yeah,
Yeah, depressed. He has problems in marriage.
Que oramos por él, algo
Yeah.
así,
So that it was only 2 youth, and that's what that proves you what God can do. And they say, why don't we go pray for him? And there's a video there. We went and prayed. They prayed for them for him. Now, what happened to them yesterday? He was robbed this morning, or like.
There was somebody that got into.
And they hit it.
A robber that wanted to rob
They
him
hit
or
him and
something.
everything. You know.
They sneaked into one of the cars, I guess, and they were in there, and he was just coming out to throw the trash. There's a gate right there, and
They tried to,
the
yeah.
robber came out and attacked him, and they cut his hand.
Yeah, something. They hit him.
Something.
So.
The ambulance took him to the hospital.
So what do we do as Christians? We get, oh yeah, whatever. We went there. What do you need? And then that's why you see that's why you see the dog, a Chihuahua,
That's why she's tied up right there inside.
because that's his dog. He cares for her. So I went and said, you know what? Give me the dog. I told the police.
Leave him in the car, yeah.
Yeah, don't leave him in the car because he stays in the car. We'll take care of the dog, and then we'll call you. You know, call us when you get out of the hospital so we can go pick you up. And those are the things that you can do for one another. And that's somebody that we really don't know.
Pray and be all holy about it. No, just lend a helping hand.
Exactly.
When he was in a moment of need, he was going to end up leaving his dog in the car by herself because he had to go to hospital because he got attacked. We're like, no, just leave the dog here, and we'll take care of him until.
And that's a way you get away from your own problems. You know,
Because if we just
your
focus on
mind.
ourselves, we're always all going to have problems. We're never going to end, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way you're going to forget about yours or not focus or think yours is the worst, how? Is by looking at other people and looking at others. There's always somebody that's going through something worse than us.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
But God says in the Bible that He will not give you more than what you can handle. So that's, see that about the wisdom? So if you're going, I cannot handle this. Well, God doesn't lie. He tells you, He knows you can handle it. You have to grow. You have to. All right. So if you don't have a ride, just let us know, or, and Saturdays at 1.
Saturday's at 1.
So you guys can.
Saturday's at 1.
So we'll see you here. Yeah, Casa?
All right. Let's pray. And we can just take whatever we have in our mind. But remember, my point for today was, the main point for today was, do we have to be forced to make choices of knowing God and serving God and wanting to look for God? No. The choice has to be ours. We have 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, all the way down to 12-year-old. On the 28 allá, and the 28 años allá, the 28-year-old back there. So the choice has to be ours, whether we're going to look for God or not. No one's going to force us. Your parents can tell you, or your parents don't tell you. They care, they don't care. It's not the point. The ultimate point is your personal choice. Just like we take the choice to post stuff on Instagram and on Snapchat and on Facebook or whatever social media you use, Twitter, just the same way we can make the choice about God, whether we want God in our life or not. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be hard? It's going to be just a walk of faith. As we walk along, we might have trials in the way, but God's going to give us the wisdom to get over those trials and come out of it. So we just have to make that choice about God, whether we know that He exists and we want to serve Him or not. By serving Him, first thing you got to do is look for Him and understand Him. You cannot serve a God you don't know. You know what I mean? A lot of people serve God the way they think they know God, and ends up that they fall, no, but I used to be a Christian. If you're a genuine Christian, then you're always going to be a Christian. There's no such thing as I fell off the boat of Christianity and left me behind in this ocean of drowning. You're always going to be on that boat with God. You know what I mean? You're always going to be there. Whether you're going to fall, you're going to get up. Yes, you're always going to fall and get up. So when we fall, but let's make sure that our getting up is stronger. That's the way it works with God. We're always all going to fall. We're always going to have something down point. I passed one challenge in my life, where comes another one. I might make a stupid choice, but I'm going to get up from there. You see, and I'm going to make a better choice for the next time. But it all starts with looking for God. It all starts with reading the Bible. It all starts with just reading the Bible. Just read it. You're gonna see how much difference it's gonna make. Even if you read 2-3 verses, you're like, I don't get this. Go back and read another 2-3 verses. Go back and read a little bit more, and you're gonna, little by little, you're gonna start feeling that, because God through His Holy Spirit is gonna put that little seed in you, where it's not by force. And you will remember when you're my age. God told you.
They'll have an immediate reward. Well, believe me. I remember when you're young. No, you have an immediate reward, and what I mean is that you will feel the difference. You might think it is senseless being here this time, but if you think about it, how much time you take. Yeah, you take in the YouTubes or doing Twitter or Instagram, whatever, or TikTok. How much time you spend, and this TikTok, right? So just think about it. This few minutes is whatever it is, an hour, it will make eventually. It'll start making a difference in your life. You'll be like, yeah. You start making better decisions, and you won't have to be forced. Hopefully.
Well, no, you won't be forced. No one forces me to do things for God. Sometimes just twist my arm. I'm just kidding. No, we don't force anybody here to do anything.
So let's pray.
No. Okay. Joshua's the one that's forced. A puras patadas lo paramos para que se venga a la iglesia. No.
Because it takes him a while to connect to his Wi-Fi.
No, Joshua just is always roaming. Joshua has a problem that he can never find the Wi-Fi signal. That's all. So he's always roaming in his head. It's like Joshua.
He gets lost.
Literally. That's
see, that's bullying. There you go. Come on.
All right. Who wants to pray?
Now, don't all jump at once.
Don't jump at once. You're gonna jump me, Jim.
Okay, what is prayer? You're just talking to God.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Sam, you want to help us today?
Sure.
Let's go.
God, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for allowing us all to be here. Thank you for Linda, for sharing your word with us, Lord, and a wonderful lesson. Hopefully we can keep it in mind at all times, Lord, and especially when we need it. I ask you to take care of each and every one of us and our families, Lord. If we're in need of anything or need help with anything, Lord, to send your help or maybe someone who can help us. Thank you for all the unconditional love that you've shown to us throughout the years. And I ask you to bless everyone here. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Wasn't that hard? Alrighty.
Amen.